Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to showcase a new deck profile. Riku Aggro and Sora Aggro Control are mainstay decks, and arguably the most famous decks in the game, but the deck I'm showing off today is a World Racer and is my absolute favorite. As I'll outline later, this deck operates on four main themes: playing world cards, drawing cards, defeating dark cards, gaining and manipulating HP. Without further ado, let's jump into it. As always, let's start with the player card. Timeless River Sora is a level 0 player card with 0 attack and 0 magic, the highest base HP of any player card at 12, and an effect that reads, at the beginning of the game, you may search your deck for a Timeless River Goofy or Timeless River Donald and place them into your friend area, then shuffle your deck. This card cannot play form cards, or friend cards that are level 4 or above, or level 0 worlds. This card cannot play Donald or Goofy cards that are not Timeless River friend cards. While you can build this deck with a different player card, you'll need to edit several cards out, and TR Sora really synergizes with a lot of the cards in my build. In addition to this synergy, TR Sora's base 12 HP is also amazing, functions as a tool to defeat dark cards, and serves as an excellent sponge for damage against really aggressive decks like the two I mentioned earlier. I run 5 level 0 friend cards in the deck. Starting out are Clarabelle Carl, Donald Duck, and Goofy. Clarabelle Carl has 1 support and magic, and an effect that reads, when this card is in your friend area, your opponent cannot place a Dark Heartless or a Dark Nobody card onto your Timeless River card 2 turns in a row. Clarabelle Cal really synergizes beautifully with this deck, as I run several Timeless River World cards. I've tested running 2 copies of her, but I found 1 copy works fine for my build. Donald Duck has 0 support and 2 magic, and a simple effect that reads, each player's equipment card's attack value becomes 0. Great aesthetic, can be searched out and played at the beginning of the game, decent magic for level 0, and an effect that helps to level the playing field against aggro decks. Donald Duck is an excellent card and one that took forever to pick up. Goofy's a very interesting include for the deck. He has 2 support and 0 magic, and an effect that reads, when Timeless River is the topmost card in your world area, you may choose to discard this card from play, and 1 card from your hand. You may then choose 1 dark villain card from your opponent's friend area and place it into their hand. This effect can only be used once each turn. On paper, Goofy's effect can read like a very specific niche effect that pigeonholes itself, and to an extent it is. Sure, he has to discard himself and a card to kick off his effect, and sure, his ability only interacts with dark villains and only those in a friend area, but the TR subset does not have a lot of ways to interact with dark cards in friend areas. This deck has 0 problem drawing cards, so the hand discard is very minimal. 1 copy is good enough for this build. I run 2 copies of Horus Collar. He has 3 support and 0 magic, and an effect that reads, when this card is in your friend area, all Dark Heartless and Dark Nobody cards on your Timeless River card loses their card text. 3 support on level 0, an ability that blank texts most dark cards in the game, and he fits the aesthetic of the deck, mandatory include, and as uncommons they're not particularly hard to acquire. I run 4 level 1 friend cards: Beast, Minnie, and 2 copies of Waka from Piece of Memory. Beast plus 5 support and ability to discard himself and dark cards make for great includes for battles and world racing. Minnie's plus 3 magic isn't as important for my build, as I don't run any magic cards and only 2 magic friend cards, but her holy ability is a great nuke against dark cards on your world cards, and again, this deck has no problems drawing, so her kickoff isn't that bad. The last 2 level 1s are Wakas from Piece of Memory, 2 support and 0 magic, and effects that read, whenever you play a world card, draw a card. Because this deck can easily play at least 1 world per turn, and 2 in some cases, Waka allows you to draw through your deck that much faster. The level 2s begin with Ariel, Beast, and King Triton. Ariel is one of my favorite friend cards in the deck, as her 2 support and 2 magic are okay stats, but her Cure Potion ability to protect up to 2 HP synergizes with TR Sora and his equipment card, which we'll get into in a bit. What's incredible about Ariel is that her ability does not activate solely during challenges. It works whenever you would lose HP. What this means is she can be discarded to protect your player during challenges, and she can preserve HP when you're using Monochrome's effect. Beast continues to work double duty with +6 support for battles, and is another option for dark cards, and King Triton is another solid support stat and bridges into your level 3s. Now the last level 2 friend I run is Santa Claus from Eternal Darkness. He, like Ariel, has 2 support and 2 magic, and an excellent effect that reads, draw an extra card during your draw phase, then choose 1 card from your hand to discard. I cannot emphasize enough how quick this deck draws through itself. I've play tested this deck numerous times, and having Santa and Waka in your friend area together can see you draw as many as 3 or 4 cards per turn, depending on your setup. I only run 3 level 3 friends in the deck: Ariel, Cloud, and a second copy of Cloud from Piece of Memory. Ariel level 3 doubles down on HP protection, and Cloud's 7 support jumps into an Oblivion level 10 during battles. I've contemplated dropping Cloud to 1 copy and bumping Ariel level 3 to 2 copies simply because HP manipulation is such an interesting and unique theme for the deck. I only run 2 magic friends, Stitch level 1 and Mushu, both from Rejoin. Stitch is an incredible magic friend who I've talked about before. In this case, he gains you HP, one of our key themes, but he also discards your opponent's equipment cards during challenges. Note, because TR Sora has 12 base HP, and there are numerous ways to increase HP in this deck, challenges mean very little to you. At best, Riku aggro and Sora aggro control decks can deal out 3 to 4 damage per turn, but even those pale to the amount of HP you can gain with this deck. Mushu is a great include for this deck because he blank text dark cards, and he doesn't need to be played for his effect to activate. As I stated earlier, I don't run any magic cards because it feels restrictive, and I didn't want to cramp the deck with Tidus level 1. Plus, the only magic I'd run would be Kira or Kiraga, and I have several ways to gain HP consistently in the deck already. The 2 equipment cards that I run are tailor-made for TR Sora. Monochrome gives 0 support and 0 magic, synergizing with level 0 Donald, and has an effect that reads, can only be played on your Timeless River Sora. Once during your action phase, announce a number lower than your current HP. That number is then subtracted from the POW of each Dark Heartless and Dark Nobody card on your world card and your HP. If the Dark Heartless and Dark Nobody cards POW is reduced to 0 or below, the card is discarded. Monochrome allows you to use your insane HP stat to effortlessly defeat Heartless and Nobodies. I run 4 attack cards in this deck. 3 Oathkeeper from the base set, and 1 Oblivion. Oathkeepers give you +5 support and allow you to gain 1 HP when you use them to defeat Heartless cards during battles. Of course, their ability only works once per turn, and Oblivion is self-explanatory. I run 3 events in this deck. The Eternal Darkness promo that allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, pick one up and place it into your hand, then return the remaining 2 in any order. Rest at Night that gives both you and your opponent +2 HP. And Throne, allowing you to discard the Heartless in play with the lowest POW. I play 3 dark cards: Aeroplane, Nightwalker, and Hot Rod, all from Rejoin. Aeroplane fits our thematic aesthetic and can discard form cards without equipment on them, a small synergy with Stitch level 1. Nightwalker gains you yet another +1 HP when it comes into play, and Hot Rod's 13 POW increases by +2 each turn it remains on your opponent's world card during their discard phase, so it has the potential to get very big. Rounding out the deck are the world cards, and they're mostly unsurprising admittedly. I run 3 copies of Disney Castle that cannot have dark cards placed on them and have a come into play effect where you draw a card. The one minor setback for this card is that you cannot play a Disney Castle directly on top of a Disney Castle. I also run 3 Timeless River level 1 with the well-known effect of discarding the lowest level friend in each player's friend area. Their effects don't necessarily mesh with the other TR World card, but they do work in conjunction with Clarabelle Cow and Horace Horsecollar. 3 copies of my favorite world card, 100 Acre Wood level 2, allow you to gain a passive HP at the beginning of each of your turns, and 3 copies of Timeless River level 2 can be played directly onto Disney Castle after they're played. What does this mean? In an ideal situation, if Waka is on board, you can play Disney Castle, gaining HP for playing a world, draw a card from its effect, draw another card from Waka's effect, play TR level 2 immediately, gain another HP for playing a world, and draw another card from Waka's effect. This is one of my favorite combos in the deck. 43 cards, that's the deck profile everyone. Again, this is my absolute favorite deck I have. It took a while to assemble because I needed to pick up the Donald Duck and a 3rd Disney Castle in TR level 2. There are a few cards you could run in favor of others. Promo Sid is always great for drawing fresh hands, but with the amount of drawing I have already, I opted for excluding him. I've also considered running Mickey Mouse level 2 from Rejoin, but I only have 1 copy that's in another deck. Sid level 2 would be good to protect Monochrome, and like I said earlier, another copy of Ariel is another viable option. I alternate between subbing the copy of Throne out for another copy of Rest at Night, but I settled on Throne for now because I have options for gaining HP already. I really hope you enjoyed this deck profile. I wonder which deck I'll cover next. Thanks.